It doesn't matter what we're dealing with in 2021. It doesn't matter if it's video games, television, movies, comic books, or now sports. Everything is political with these white liberals that are pretending to care about racial injustice, and they are so woke and they are so focused on pretending and projecting to tell you how much they care about black voices and diversity. And these white liberals that will preach all day long are the same people that will tell a black female to shut up if that black female has a conservative opinion, or a black male that has that conservative opinion. These same white liberals will trash them because that's who they are. It is projection. And we're going to have Roger Goodell bending the knee to these white leftist liberals because that's what he does. It is pathetic, but let's listen, because it doesn't matter how much you try. It doesn't matter how much you pander. These conversations prove that it's never enough. It's never going to be enough. Let's listen in.
Was a problem, and it was something that the NFL needed to, or a lot more of us actually, and you said that diversity in the head coaching ranks was a problem, and it was something that the NFL needed to take significant measures to address. In the months since, we've gone through the Black Lives Matter movement. Our country has gone through this racial reckoning. As a league and as ownership, you guys enacted some pretty significant changes, but here we are on the eve of the Super Bowl, a hiring cycle complete, and the head coaching numbers have not really changed. What happened this hiring cycle? How concerned are you personally and your staff at the league office? How concerned are you? And what more needs to happen to see different results next year?
Well, Lindsay, a few things. First off, I think and I've said this to you all many times, I'm not sure there's an issue that we spent more time working with our ownership on. Our ownership is committed, focused on this. And, we look at this as broadly as possible we want to make the NFL, our clubs, more diverse. And so it's much broader than just head coaches for us, but the head coaches is important. And we put a lot of our policies and focus on that this year. As you know, we had 2 minority coaches hired this year, but it wasn't what we expected, and it's not what we expect going forward. So for us, we want to continue to look and see what went right, what went wrong. I think that has to happen with individual discussions with.
These are ridiculous scenarios. What went right? What went wrong? What are you talking about? People that are qualified should be hired. End of discussion. It doesn't matter what their race is. But the NFL is going to project. Also, look at this from the same Yahoo. This is back in November 9th of 2020. Adding incentives to the Rooney Rule won't fix lack of diversity in NFL head coach GM roles. It doesn't matter how much you do. This group of people will never be satisfied. It doesn't matter. It will never be enough. You can give them 50% of the head coaching jobs, and then they're going to be upset because it's men. It could be all black men. It could be all black men in the NFL that are head coaches. And then the social justice weirdos, the left-leaning activists, the weirdos, the white liberals, they're going to then be upset because there isn't a female in this league that's a head coach. And then they want 5 females, and then they want 10, and then the whole league needs to be women. And then once it's all women, then it has to be transgender. And then once it's all transgender, then it has to be something else. This will never end. Social justice is a disease, and it will never end. Best person gets the job. End of discussion. Let's continue to listen to Roger Goodell pander his nuts away.
Candidates, both successful and unsuccessful candidates, the clubs, and try to understand, exactly what went right and what went wrong. They're not the outcomes we wanted, and we're committed more than ever to make sure that we do that. But we want it to be a natural process. We want it to be a process that is what we believe in diversity is making us better, ultimately. And so we'll get back. I've had a lot of conversations with owners and candidates over the last several.
Goodell doesn't give a fuck. None of these people truly care. It's all about projecting.
People want to focus on the head coach, but there are a lot of positives. 3 new general managers that are African American. There's a lot more diversity in the coordinator position also, and across the league. So there were some real positives to build on, and that's what we're going to do. But we're not satisfied, and we feel like we can do better, and we're going to.
Hey, Roger. Peter King with NBC.
Peter King has such a severe case of TDS. Peter King is the definitive beta male. My God, I can only imagine what Peter King is going to run his mouth about.
Just following up a little bit on Lindsay's question about minority coaches. In 2003, when the Rooney Rule was enacted, there were 3 black coaches that year in the NFL. And in 2021, there will also be 3 black coaches in the NFL. 2 additional minority coaches, but in a league that is about 70% black, everybody knows that this is a major issue. And I wonder if you would consider, having some sort of an ownership summit or something to, and I don't mean read the riot act to owners, but I mean to try to talk to owners personally, or maybe in a large group when you can get together, about emphasizing that we are not doing this well. We've got to do it better.
Peter, everything you just said there, I've said on multiple occasions this year. As I said to you in response to the question Lindsay asked, I'm not sure, other than the February meeting where we discussed the labor agreement, that we didn't raise this issue and the importance of doing this better, considering policies to help us in this case, and enacting policies, and the ownership shown their commitment in that. So the answer is yes, we'll have more discussions for sure, both individually and collectively when we can get together. But that doesn't stop us. We've been doing it on Zoom. We've been doing it individually. And the committee has been very active too, chaired by Art Rooney and several owners that are on that committee.
This is ridiculous. I mean, to listen to Roger Goodell try and pander to these weirdos, to these true ist and isms, these people. Peter King is insane. Peter King is a crazy person. If you've heard, go back and listen to Clay Travis have Peter King on his show. Clay Travis absolutely destroyed Peter King. Peter King has such a warped world view, and look at here we are on the eve of the Super Bowl, and all the questions from these white liberals are surrounding race and gender. That's it. That's all they care about. That's all they're worried about. And again, this is in every aspect of entertainment. This is in sports. This is in movies. This is in comics. This is in TV. It's everywhere you go, except for the real world. In the real world, where normal people that have jobs and lives and bills and families and everyday stresses, these things are not part of the real world, because in the real world, we don't sit there and judge every single individual on their skin color. We judge them on the merit. That's it. And you have these woke white liberals out there that are absolutely obsessed with this stuff, and they are pushing this nonsense because they are projecting, because they have something to hide. Every single time you see someone that is front and center talking about this stuff, they have something to hide. It never fails. This is ridiculous. But we will talk about the Super Bowl tomorrow on our Sports Wars live stream. We'll be live, myself and Ryan Kinel and John Matrix will be here. We'll give our predictions on the Super Bowl. We're not going to break down the race and the gender breakdown and the numbers and how many people are oppressed or offended and all of that. We're just going to talk about football, and we may call out some of the nonsense. But other than that, you guys have a great day. Thank you very much for checking out this video. Thank you for subscribing to Sports Wars, and we will talk to you later.